Alrighty then. Successful indie author, marketing with confidence. This is another training session. Should take 20 to 30 minutes is all. We'll go through what I think it takes to market with confidence. And also at the end of this, we'll have questions. And if you ask questions throughout, I'll try to answer them on the current slide. And then at the end, it'll be an ask me anything kind of question. So ask any questions you may have about marketing with confidence, writing, publishing, whatever you have. We'll fill up some time, and hopefully that will be it. All righty then. Looks like we have nobody watching at present, but they'll get here. And also, this is recorded to watch it anytime later. Marketing with confidence. It starts with you. You have to believe in your book. Did you do the best job you could when you wrote your book? And if that answer is yes, then you're good. You are good. Did the best job you could. Sure, you might go back years later and say, wow, that wasn't very good. But it was the best job you could do at the time. Before you were well educated in craft and in understanding, you still had an intuitive idea of how the story was supposed to flow. And you wrote it, you did the best job you could. So you have to believe in the story. You don't have to say, this is the best book ever written. No, this is a great story. That's what you're really looking at. If you go back through it and you keep rewriting it, you're not going to make it better. So the best job you could do doesn't mean that you need to reread it and rewrite it and then keep rewriting it. I am adamantly opposed to that. Write it, learn, and move on. No matter how long it took you to write that first book, it's still, you do the best job you can, and then you do a better job with the next book, because now you know how those words flow, how the scenes integrate with each other, the transitions between the scenes. You have to believe in yourself. Do you? I know that's easy to say, but it's really hard to do. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can write a book that's worth reading? I would like to think so. I believe it. I've read a lot of books. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff out there that people think, well, that's not very good. Some of my best books are some of my worst sellers. Well, I did the best job I could. I think it's a good story. So moving on, writing another book. Have you taken your imagination and used the prism of your words to focus the color onto the pages of that book? That's what writing is. It's taking this, putting it out there, so then you can inject it back into a reader's mind. That's the cool part, that they take all of this stuff and they took your idea and all of a sudden it's just ink on a page, and now it's their idea. They're seeing what hopefully you saw, maybe even better. Maybe their imagination takes off and it sees a much broader world than what you're focusing on. And that's okay. And the best books are the ones where people say, I'm still thinking about it. I finished it a week ago and I'm still thinking about it. That's what you do. You believe in yourself, believe in the story. The mechanics don't have to be great, but that's why we get professional editors, and that's why we run it through editing software. That's why we do what we can to make sure that the story mechanical things in the story don't detract from what you're trying to tell the people, what you're trying to tell the readers. Believe in your book. I can't emphasize that enough, because if you don't believe in your book, hey, I think you should buy this book. Yeah, it sucks. It's not very good. It doesn't compare to anything, but you should still buy it. Who's going to buy that? Here's a story about something that matters. Let's see if I can go to the next slide. Cool. The attitude. The attitude is not buy my book. Hey, this book isn't very good, but I think you should still buy it and read it because it might be better than you think. Well, that's not a good sales technique. But look at it this way. It's not me talking to you. It's, let's talk about this thing over here. This is the book. This is the story about a dragon who changes into a human and then fights crime. But they really like being a dragon. They don't like being a human so much. Think about that. And you're looking over here, and the reader's looking over there. They're not looking at you. There's no conflict here. Attitude. It's the attitude about, this is a good story. How do you like your entertainment? Do you like dragon stories? Do you like human crime solving stories? What about a little mixture of both? Read your fantasy, read your mystery, get both, and enjoy what the great things in those genres have to offer when they're blended together in a seamless way. How about that? Do you think that would sell? I do. And I actually picked up a book just like that. And so we're going to sell the hell out of it. And people are going to say yes, even though, hey, first book. But you know what? There's going to be a second book after it and a third book. Compare and contrast. This just makes it easier for the reader. I know some authors get their back up about this, but it makes it easier for the reader. If you like Jack Reacher, you'll love my awesome character. No. If you like Jack Reacher, then you might like this story too. Don't tell them your book is better than their favorite book or better than their favorite characters. That's pushing a chain uphill. That's taking one step too far. Compare and contrast. Perfect for readers of Reacher, Longfellow, and Jack Sparrow. And this is where, when I give this presentation live, you're supposed to laugh because Jack Sparrow, come on, he's but you have heard of me. He's a pirate. You're not better than your favorite author. We're just trying to find the readership that will like your book. And that's what genre is all about. But this is a mystery. This is true crime. This is police procedural. That's because people like certain things, and marketers said, we're going to call this police procedural because that's what these readers, they all kind of clump in there and it works. So if you write a book that these readers will like, we'll call it a police procedural. Okay. Hey, and it has some tropes in there that people expect, that the readers expect. This is epic fantasy. Well, epic. They expect it to be a really long book with flowing descriptions and huge sweeping landscapes and dragons. So deliver to those expectations. What's this have to do with marketing? It's the attitude. It's the attitude that you're not better than people's favorite author, but if they like those characters from that favorite author, then they might like your book too. And that's it. You're just saying, hey, you're taking advantage of what marketers have done for years, which is developing the genre titles, the genre groupings of readers, so they can just market to them. That's what that is. So find that genre that has the most readers that might like your book, and then go in there and put your book down and say, hey, here's a story about. So you're a third party to the sale, and this makes it a lot easier for you to sell that book, because it's not like, buy my book. Well, why? I don't know you. I don't care about you. I don't have anything to do with you. But once you take off your artist hat, you put on your marketing hat, and then you put the product over here and say, hey, let's look at this. You're not selling yourself. And this is a misnomer, and how introverts, why they are so opposed to the term marketing, because it's selling yourself. It's putting yourself out there, like I'm doing right now, looking at you saying, hey, you need to listen to this presentation because you're getting it wrong. No, you're not putting yourself out there. You never have to show your face. You just have to tell a great story and put it out there for the readers to see. But sometimes you got to tell them, look here, because this story will satisfy that itch that you have. Think about when you go to the grocery store in February and the Girl Scouts are out there freezing their butts off at a table that's filled with boxes of cookies. And there's the moms lined up behind, making hot chocolate and stuff like that. So what do you look at? Do you look at the little girls? Hell no. You look, hey, do you have Thin Mints? Hey, Do-si-dos. Yeah, I like those too. You go right to the product. I don't even remember what any of them look like, because, hey, look at these boxes of cookies, and I know I like them. So good branding, and pick it up. That's what you're doing with your story. It's not about you at all. It's about, hey, look at this product. So now you get your marketing hat on. It's a product. It's no longer your baby. You're not selling your baby, for Pete's sake. You're selling a product. a story that you told. Why are you going to tell a story if you don't want anybody to read it? You don't want anybody to see in their mind what you've seen in yours. You show the customer what's on the table and you disappear into the background. You get them reading. This is what the blurb is so important. I was just throwing things together when I published my first books, and I went and did an in-person show. I'm like, cool, I got a bunch of books like this. I got a dozen books, and put them out there on the table. And the first thing the people did was, oh, hey, this is a great picture. I had great artwork, Tom Edwards covers. And they flipped it over and they read the back. And I'm like, oh, that back is just kind of nonsense that I put together. It sounds okay, but you really need the book to. Didn't make a sale off that. I had to adjust that, and I had to talk to them and tell them, here's what the book's about. A cat and his human minions. And okay, make that sales pitch, that elevator pitch. You get right on the back. They'll read the back. The back is your blurb on your product page on Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble. That makes the sale. You hook them and you sell them. You don't tell them, here's what the book's about. No. You hook them with sales copy. Put that checkbook away. There's more. It's not me. It's a bundle of joy in a pure gold wrapper. So think about Girl Scout cookies. You're just thinking about opening that box of Thin Mints, pulling out that sleeve, the single serving sleeve of cookies, and going to town. Analyzing the data. What does this mean? Oh, I don't want to analyze data. I just want to write books. Analyzing the data is no more difficult than your daily Wordle, for Pete's sake. It is simple. How much money are you spending on ads, on promotions? How much money are you making? The making part needs to be greater than the spending part at some point in time, because you can't continue to write and keep working if you're not making any money. So you need to build that up. However, it's easier to sell books if you have more than one book in your store. So that's why the 3 books. I'm a big fan of you need like 50 books. No, I'm kidding there. You could start selling with 1 book, and I encourage people to start ads with 1 book, but don't expect to make a profit. Just expect to get that book into people's hands, and make sure you have the link to the pre-order for the second book in that first book, because that's where you're making your money. Now you're not advertising the second book at all, just the first one. And if you're getting pre-orders on that second book, that's telling you what you need to know, that I wrote a book that people wanted to read. And not just that, they want to read the next book too. That is your win. That is the maximum that you can reach. That's the pinnacle of success as an author, that they want to read your next book, and they're willing to sign up for it by, hey, doing a pre-order. So what I suggest is for an Amazon ad, set up an automatic ad, standard text, standard ad. So you don't even have to do any text. Just put it out there. Let it run with a budget you can afford, $5 a day, limit the bids. Same thing with Facebook ads. You can do the same thing there. $5 a day. You can limit the bids to 15 cents if you want, and it'll still show them. And you might get some clicks and some sales off that. And then you just look at, hey, how's this doing? On Amazon ads, you can look at search terms. What search terms triggered your ad where somebody clicked on it? That's good data. That's good info. Isn't that something you would want to know? Even if all you want to do is write, hey, what search terms got what are people seeing that from my book that this directs them there? The refinements can come later. You don't have to do that right away. So confidence in marketing, you don't have to know it all. You just have to know enough to get started. You just have to have a good book. You have to have confidence that you wrote a good book, and that the people are going to enjoy the story. Looking over here at the story, here's what it's about. Have that elevator speech ready of this is what it's about. So when somebody asks you, you can tell them. Building on success. I have my slides really big over here because on this little screen, I have a hard time seeing them. So anyway, sucks getting old. I don't recommend it. Building and refining to help you expand. If you double your ad budget, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to double your revenue. It usually means you are not going to double your revenue. What you have to do is you have to find what's working and do more of that. So if it's an ad for your book and it's a Facebook ad, well, you find out, hey, here's what I do. You might start a new ad and just go with a higher budget to begin with and see if they serve it to those readers who are going to like the book. Facebook, Amazon, they know who buys what. They know it very, very well. So let them do the hard work. Let them do the heavy lifting. Gamify the elements if you can. So this is if you're on social media. So marketing with confidence. If you're on social media, you picked one platform. This is the platform I use. How can you gamify the elements of your book? Is it a scavenger hunt? Is it a typo hunt? Is it character sketches? Is it fan art? Is it fan fiction? What can readers do to be more engaged with your story? Goes back to slide 1. Do you believe in your story? Did you write the best story you could? Yes. Okay. Hey, let's have fun with it. Let the readers have fun with it. Build a newsletter. I cannot emphasize enough that you need a newsletter, because that's your direct conversation with the readers. That's where you can ask them questions. That's where you market future books to them. That's where you market backlists to them. Readers they pay your salary, so you need to treat them like gold. So if you were running a business, you're the CEO running a business, what would you do? You treat the employees well. You take good care of them, and they'll take good care of you. And that's what you do with your newsletter. Run giveaways, little things, an extra chapter here or there, a flash fiction piece that you wrote. Keep them engaged. Keep your readers excited about their conversations with you as an author, an interesting person. Hey, I know a published author. They answer my emails when I send them questions. It's only limited by your imagination and your budget. Confidence in marketing, you don't have to have a very big budget. You do have to have some. If you are going to advertise on platforms, paid platforms like Facebook or Amazon, you don't have to have a lot if you live on social media. That depends on your social media presence, your social media capabilities. Can you make TikTok videos? Can you get people engaged over there? If you can, then you don't need to advertise on Amazon or Facebook. You can advertise right there on TikTok without advertising. Send them over to your book talk store, and there you are, making sales, thousands of dollars of sales a day. There are people doing that through TikTok because they're engaging. They got a good look on them, and they reach the audience. So they're having a conversation with the readers, although it's still one way. But that's only limited by our imagination. And I think the best marketing is writing that next book. If you wrote one book and that's it, you don't have the next book even thought about, then you're going to have a hard time, because selling just one book is hard. And I don't know how to do that. I know how to sell a bunch of books. I know how to sell a book, but at a loss, that loss leader, that first book in a series. But I don't know how to sell just one book and make a fortune. If somebody does know that, please let me know, and I'll retire. Saying you can't market is self-sabotage. Just like if you say, oh, well, I'm a perfectionist. I can't put this book out yet because I'm a perfectionist. No, you're self-sabotage. You're afraid of something. What are you afraid of? And once you can come to grips with your fear, then chances are much better. Oh, geez, I forgot to change the slide for you guys here. Chances are much better that you're going to do well if you get rid of that self-sabotage, that perfectionist, that, oh, I can't market, so my book's not going to sell. You put it out there. You're smart enough to write a book. You're smart enough to put it in front of the right readers. And that's what you're doing. You're just putting it in front of the right readers. It's not like I'm selling myself. You are not selling yourself. You are not chipping a part of your soul away and giving it to the devil so you can sell books for Pete's sake. It's not like that. It's, here's a product you might like. Don't convince yourself you can't market, because you are full of crap. You can market if you have the right attitude about it. This is a great story about these things. Do you like stories about those things? Here, maybe you should look at this. Do you love these authors? Do you love Sanderson? Well, here's an epic fantasy that may work for you. What about these other authors? I love those guys. Great. This might work for you. This might fill that void in between their publications. How can you beat that? Fill that void, because readers can read a hell of a lot more than we can write. You wrote a book. You were smart enough to write a book. You can market it. Marketing is not selling yourself. Get over that, get past that, and that's attitude again. You are not selling yourself. You are selling a product. And that product is going to appeal to a certain sector of the population that fits within a genre expectations. Simple stuff, right? Marketing. And now go write another book. Nothing sells the last book like the next book. So keep that production line rolling. That means write the next book. That's pretty much it. Marketing with confidence. Did you do the best job you could? Is it a good story, even if the technical elements of it, geez, I wish I could write better. The wording doesn't flow that smooth here. Yeah, whatever. Right. That's how you get better at that stuff. Not rewriting the same thing, writing the new book, writing a next book. Here's how I need to shape the characters at the beginning. Yes. Yeah, you really don't want to rewrite that first book doing all that. Now, if you're writing a series, maybe you do need to rewrite that first book, but only after you're smart enough to. And if you haven't published that first book, you're not smart enough to rewrite it. That's my advice. Write that second book, third book. Second, third books don't sell because the first book isn't selling. Well, is there something wrong with that first book? You did have some people read it, find out what that was, fix it, and then go back to it. Marketing, because this over here is a good story. It's Girl Scout cookies on the table. That's what you're selling. You're not selling yourself. Here it is. Everybody loves Thin Mints. Put them in the freezer and you will benefit. All right, there we go. That's all we have for marketing with confidence. We have Zeph Moaz and we have Lynn. Do you have any questions? Any questions for me? I have 4 people watching, which were down half from what we were last time. Holy cow. But these will be recorded. You can watch them anytime. We're down to 3. Scavenger hunt or typo hunt. Typo hunt is when I published a book, I'd say, if you find a typo, I was just confident that my proofreaders had found everything. If you find a typo, let me know, and you can be on my proofreading team for my next book, and you'll get it at no cost. There we go. That's a typo hunt. You got to have some rate. If you only have 10 raters, you're giving away maybe too many copies. And if you haven't had it really proofread to a high level, then they may find more typos than you can afford, shall we say. And a scavenger hunt, hey, you put something out in your book. One of my first books was a post-apocalyptic book. Scavenger hunt was, do you have these items which were beneficial in case of complete power failure and you had to survive for 30 days? Do you have a knife? Do you have a rifle? Do you have enough ammunition? Do you have all of these kinds of things? Not to get in their business, but a scavenger hunt for them to say, oh man, I could use fishing line. I don't fish, but boy, if I had to provide for myself, there is a river down the thing. So maybe I do need to go fishing. So what I did was I helped them plan for a post-apocalyptic future and help them prep a little bit. So that one was a good one. So that's scavenger hunt. I wouldn't talk about real people. The question is, the book talks about a lot of actual people from Richard Osman. You're taking your life into your own hands there. How much do you want to pay for lawyers? It depends how you talk about those people. Use real names. They're public figures who should expect that their public presence allows them to be in fiction. However, try to avoid that shit. Like I have my modern day thriller. I made up the president and vice president because I just didn't want to deal with any of that. I didn't even say what party they belong to in my books. And the vice president has a major role in a number of those books. So there you are, because I didn't want to play that game. So as indie authors, there's certain things that you should be more leery of. I would not use real people in my books unless it's very obvious, like something during the Reagan era, and that's it. You just want to reference the 70s. There's no impact there. It doesn't affect anything, and it is a standard understanding of that era of this person was president. But if you want to say, oh, hey, Ronald Reagan was in the back room doing these weird, stop it. The Reagan Foundation will sue you or could sue you, just like they're suing Canada over that video that they posted. Oops, sorry about that. So avoid that. I'd say avoid it like the plague, but we've already had the plague and we didn't avoid it. So I can't say that anymore. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. Thanks, everybody, for who joins us later and watches the recorded version. Marketing with confidence. It starts with you. Peace, fellow humans.